So this prevents it from moving up and down. And if this were to move up and down, which is why it's very nice. Again, be careful with this viewfinder because they're very hard to find. The one I had in my 16BL was a straight viewfinder, and that means that if it moves up and down, the whole image sort of distorts because it's just a set of mirrors pointing a light up. It's not really like a fancy system like in the later models where it compensates for the angle. So now with the viewfinder in place, you can look through it and you'll see. In fact, you can try to do so now.
You can see that it's garbage.
Yeah, start.
Yeah. Let me just check that the zoom is.
Well, there's two things that it could be if it's dark.
Exactly.
This has an eye pressure shutter. So whilst you're filming, light can also get back here, go back through the system of mirrors, and back onto the piece of film you're exposing. And you don't want that to happen. So this itself has a shutter here, which is depressed by putting your eye to it. And then there's also the actual camera shutter that could be blocking it. So whenever you look through for the image, you're going to check first pressure on, and then you'll inch this. This is the winding knob. And this is like for minute control of the shutter gate. So you'll be able to move that, and you'll be able to move the shutter out of the way to be able to see.
And you'll see when we take the lens off, how when you move that, you see the mirror spinning. Because the way this works is that when the motor triggers, there's a mirror that spins, and you see through the mirror, and then when you're not seeing anything, that means that the light is going straight into the film. So that just spins really quickly, and with this being one of the first ones to be this way, it doesn't automatically get out of the way. So that's why if you look at it and it's dark, it could be either you have a lens cap on, if you have like a matte box and it's shut, or you haven't pressed the viewfinder correctly, or most likely you haven't moved this, and so you just wiggle with it a bit and it'll appear. But we'll see it when we take the lens off. Before we add more weight to it, we'll mount the camera on the shoulder rig. So that is a job for you guys.
So this has this shoulder pad is magnetic. It's quite hard to use on your shoulder, as you'll find out. This will allow us to mount stuff onto the camera.
Yeah, because this shoulder rig is mainly made for digital cameras where you have a much more adjustable monitor setup or digital setup. Here, again, because it's all mirrors, this is what you've got. You can't really move it out of that.
Have you thought about adapting a video tap for it?
Yes, we've done in the past in different ways, some better than others. The first iteration of it was an old phone that I had glued onto here, streaming and JPEG, because that was the lowest latency codec I could use. And then for better versions, we've then 3D printed and done stuff. That is okay for shots where you really need a video tap, but you cannot trust the focus on the video tap as much as you can with your own eye, because that is what you're capturing, what you're seeing, is what the camera is rated for. Video tap, there might be a certain softness or sharpness at it, and you cannot be sure unless you physically measure it. That what you're seeing in focus is actually in focus in the camera.
Well, as you might see, even through your eye, you still might not know.
Exactly.
I would recommend measuring, and the one shot we didn't measure in the film last year was out of focus.
Okay.
And be aware, of course, if you're using diopters, of all the math that you have to run to figure out what focus point you have to set. Although to be fair, if you just stop for a moment and you look through the viewfinder and you focus, you will see whether it's in focus or not. If you're rushing, you won't. But if you just stop for a moment and you just look right through it and you have the measurement, you can be sure whether it needs a bit or more of going up or going down. You just have to really stop for a moment and look. So now you have the shoulder rig on. And as Henry was saying, you're not going to have it on the shoulder much, mainly because it is very heavy, although it is quite fun to operate on the shoulder. It just hurts after a while, and now apparently it gets all sticky. But the main reason why we do this is so that we can bolt on accessories in the front and the back with these rods. The main one being the battery power. So, ACs, you please mount the V-lock onto this, and then that onto that. Plate onto the shoulder.
that locked?
Yeah, if it clicks, it normally locks, but I double check. As you can see from the crack here, in the past somebody did not check. Mhm. Okay, if you look carefully, you'll see why. There you go.
Yeah.
Because the port is on the back, which is a very annoying thing of this power
So
plate.
that's on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if this power plate were to break or something were to happen to it, you would have to get another plate. If you were to use another plate, it might not be protected in its output. V-Locks can output almost 16 volts out of them, and this, the Arri should be able to take that voltage, but it's very old, the electronics are very old, and so there's a chance that you might fry it if you send so much voltage into it. They're actually rated not for 12 volts, but for 9, even though they say 12. So already 12 is it's in a safe space, but 15, sending 15 into the camera might work, but it might overload it. So in those cases, what we've done in the past is a very simple trick. If we cannot get a plate that can output just 12 volts, like that plate does, we just connect it to like a black magic or to a light, discharge it till it's in a safe voltage space, halfway through or 2/3 of charge, and then it's safe to use. But a freshly charged battery without that regulating plate is a bit dangerous for this camera. And again, if you fry the motor, it's going to be very hard. Or the board, actually. The board is much harder to fix.
Yeah, if you're not using our V-Locks, last year we taped all of them up because they all have another one of these D-tap outputs on the battery, and often people will stick it in there without thinking, but that's coming straight from the battery, not from the plate. It has to be through one of these.
Yeah.
So we've taped them all up, but if you get external V-Locks, just don't from the battery, just from the plate.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, because that would be a very hard thing to fix halfway through a shoot. The way that you connect this camera to power is in three steps really. You connect the sync unit to the power port, which I think is this one. Yeah, that was a bit different. Make sure you don't force the pins.
Yeah, just be careful with it.
Yeah,
make sure it's
these,
aligned before you push it in.
These plugs, well, they're not incredibly hard to find because they output they're relatively standard in electronics of their time. Yeah, if it feels stiff.
That's fine.
Yeah. I think with these things in general, the idea is don't be scared of them, but also don't just put your entire force into pressing them. Be gentle, but also don't be just scared of touching everything because again, these cameras are made to last. So the first step is connecting the unit to the camera. This will then control again the sync sounds. The sync motor. And then step 2 is actually connecting the unit to power, which is done with this cable. And this turns
the
output port.
Story, this cable.
Exactly. This was a long story because we were, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks away of our first proper shoot after having tested the camera. We had been able to see the camera. We had been able to get it ready, but we had not been able to power it on. And so with Sol, the ex-president, on eBay, we tried to look for Amphenol ports. He ended up finding one in Germany. His girlfriend at the time was in Germany as well, and so we managed to actually find this, which turns a relatively uncommon port, which is this Amphenol port, into XLR, into a 4-pin XLR. And that means that then you can turn it into another sort of very standard port that you might have seen on digital cameras, which is the D-tap that we can then plug into V-Locks. So this is the very useful thing of this cable, and I've seen other spares, but they're hard to find. So again, this one you can do whatever you want. You can hang it, you can throw it around. But this one, it would be very good if we don't lose it or break it. Similar to that one, it is relatively fragile in the connections because it requires, as you see, it has many pins. Mm-hmm. They can bend very easily. And so you see, if you just look at it, it has this very specific shape. It's not just a circle; it has a little triangle here. So as long as you just align it with that, it should be all right. So well, you guys do it. Plug this into this port down here, not this one, but this one. So the way it works to protect it from the pins bending is you align it, and then you, so once you've got it all aligned, you feel that it sort of goes in a bit, and so then you twist only the front part of this, which, one second, I'm just going to get it aligned correctly. You see? Yeah, so it's a bit, have you operated SDI cables?
No.
You know, like the BNC. So as you see, this has this little metal bit here. That goes in here and it guides the cable through.
Okay.
So you gotta put it when it feels like, you see it's going down, but now you don't have to press down, you just have to twist it and it locks it in place. So that the port, you see, I mean it's still fragile, but you know, you can't yank it out. So now you've got this, and this is outputting that, then you can put this in here, and then that in.
So is this digital?
No, this is film. 16. It's
But then
it's the only. Well, I think you have the Bollocks as well, but it is the main 16mm camera that we've got for sync sound.
No.
Try this bit again.
And then what's that? What does that do?
That connects the battery to the camera unit.
Okay.
And then Christopher Nolan, when he was around, he used it loads for his stuff as well. So it's gotten the branding of the Christopher Nolan camera, which in a way is correct. He's probably the most notable member to have used it together with Harry Grandier. But yeah, it's been before. It was before his time. It's been around after his time. But he very kindly paid for it to be repaired a few years ago, and then when I was president, I got an email saying it was ready to be picked up. Everyone, the rumor that had been passed to me at the time was that he had taken it back, and it was believed that he either owned it or he just took it, not that he had sent it off to be repaired.
And then this goes in the deep.
Yes, in the detail, in any of the four.
Yeah, I get this out.
Or a biography.
Yeah,
Do Christopher Nolan's like early biography
yeah.
with the actual camera.
A biography. Pues ahora estoy trabajando en la BBC.
No, really? Oh, damn.
Al principio ni más de, y ahora cada vez más en documentales.
Okay.
It's hard.
Let's see. So we have battery, everything connected. All right, we've got pretty much a complete thing in that, except for the magazine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get the camera on the tripod so that we can free the table and focus on the magazine. Before you grab the camera, you need to put this on the mounted to the shoulder rig. You have to take the plate off, and to do that, it's a two-step process where you pull this, and it flips up, and you just mount it onto that.
Sorry, I got a phone call.
Onto the bottom of the shoulder rig.
Oh yeah, I reckon that works.
Brilliant.
Let's
so hold
go.
on to that.
Don't lose that screen.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well you've got it in. So now it's time to get it on. And the nice thing about this tripod is that it's very easy to mount things onto it. But Henry, it would be very good to look for to find maybe the head, the adapter that can fit the shoulder rig natively, because that would solve.
Think about buying a new beekier tripod anyway. Now we've got the Arri.
Yeah, I mean if you've got the budget for it, they're very expensive. These.
They are.
Yeah.
We've got money.
Yeah, it's already locked. Locked in place automatically. That's the beauty of this tripod. If this the red bit is on the let me just get it correctly. If this red thing is on this side, it means it's locked. If it's on the other side, it's unlocked. So it's nice because you don't have to tighten things; it's just locked.
Does this only take 400 feet?
Yes. Yeah. For part 2, the magazine. And this is the tricky part. That is all easy compared to this. Because this will bring you nightmares and also very sore fingers. And so, what you have here are 2 magazines, both work, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, this is where you load the film, obviously, and that goes on top of the camera. And you have to load it in the darkness and unload it in the darkness. Yeah, should we try to... Do we get it on before?
We could, as a proof of concept.
Yeah, as a proof of concept, I think it would be good. So, it's not very complicated because again, it's such a rudimentary system that it's just you can see it with your own eyes. So you see this thing here. This controls this metal bit that allows you to release or lock the thing. So, I'll do it once and then you guys can do it. So you align the gears with the gears, and then you, if I recall correctly on this one, you have to slot in the front first, or the back first. I don't remember, because on the 16 or so it's different. I think the back first.
I think it goes either way.
Yeah, because then this...
Because then that will collapse
clicks
on it, yeah.
Yeah. So you just tighten it, and you see it's mounted on. So now if you come round, it'll be more clear when we have the film going through. But if we now open this door, which as you've seen I've done with this bit, closed, open. The film comes down through here, into the gate, gets exposed, and then it is sent out back into this side of the magazine. So fresh film here, exposed film here. Okay, and this is the tricky bit, because you got to make the exact length of a loop in the darkness that then allows the camera to route the film and out without friction and without scratches. So that is the complicated.
Does it have to be complete darkness?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. You can't. It can't hit. In the more modern cinema 16mm cameras, the fresh film and exposed film compartments are in different parts of the
Okay.
magazine. So you can have one open
Yeah.
without the other. So one open in the sense of like once you load the other one, you can do the loop, in the light.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it. But this one is the old version, and so you have to do everything in the dark. And so let's do it.
And the loop can't be too long, otherwise it will
Yeah.
scratch itself along the bottom here.
Yeah, you have a rough guide here of the where the loop should be, and you'll see there's a little mark here on the magazine where you should pull the film out to, up here, look. And you can feel it in the dark, which is the nice thing. And this is the exact length that the loop should be.
Okay.
Always plan to have a little bit less or a bit more, because when you start fiddling with the entrance point of the film, you will pull more or less. I think this is a very personal thing. You'll find what you do. Most of the time, I always leave it a bit longer so I can then pull it back, and I know somebody else who does it the opposite way, because they know that then they pull it a bit too much. So it is fully up to you. This you should do. Whoever is going to do it, you should choose which one of you is going to do it. And that is the person that is responsible for that. Obviously, it's very good for both of them to both ACs to know. But I think it's much with the fact you have a month, it's quite useful if one is the master of the magazine in a way, and can be really quick. Not necessarily super fast, but is handy with the magazine, and the other one can be handy with other things. But again, both of you should know how to do it. It's just that maybe one can be faster than the other. So you that's a choice for you to make. So let's get it off. And to get it off, it's very similar to how we did it. We unscrew this, and then you pull it once you've fully unscrewed it, and you can get it off.
Always unscrew it more than you think.
Yes. And so what you have here is a loading bag, because you're not going to have a dark room on set. What this gives you is, you can put this in here and then operate with your hands. The way I would do it initially to learn is do it obviously looking at it, and then doing it in the loading bag, and then doing it again outside, loading bag. It's a matter of just doing it over and over and over again. It's not a complicated thing, it's just that you need to get used to it, because it's a very unnatural thing to be doing. Let's open the magazine. Here. To open it, press this metal and open it. Don't force it. So, this one is a bit sticky obviously, because it needs to really seal. Here you have two different types of spools, and this is very important, because if you mess it up when unloading, you will realize that you cannot load the film again. These are the cores that attach to the plastic cores. Now if we see, when you get your film, obviously you won't be able to look at it, because if you do, then you've ruined it. But it'll be in these cores. This will normally be in this, okay? But to get this, or this even, onto the magazine, you need one of these cores, okay? And vice versa, when you're unloading the film, you should not load off the core. You should get the film off it, but leave the core in, or if you take it out, everything out, and you just want to do it separately, make sure that you get it back out. Because if you send this and you pack it all up and then send it to the lab,
There we go. That's some. I think that's some test film that was just in the box.
exactly, this is perfect. Because this is exactly this. You know, you're going to start to lose these, and you might obviously you'll notice if you run out of them. But by that point, then you have to reopen the cans and retouch it. Every time you open the can, it could be a potential problem. You know, you could be introducing light into it. You could be touching it, scratching it, making it all dirty. So the less you touch the film, the better, and the less times that you can and recan. So, to go back to the point, you have two different types of cores. This one attaches to plastic cores, and this one lets you roll the film directly onto it. It has like a special name, self-expanding core, something like that. So as you see these things, they click in and out of place. This is what gives you the meter reading back here. Okay, if you forget to attach this, it'll be much harder for you to know how many feet you've used or you've got left. So make sure to always, at the end of loading, just click this back into place. And then before you're loading it, you click it out of place, because otherwise it's going to bother you. And you can move it around.
And they are accurate.
Yeah.
Some people were, before we shot, some people were thinking that they were off, but they're actually spot on.
Yeah.
So you can trust these.
Attach it here. Obviously it comes with a bit of tape, so that it doesn't just like spool off everywhere. We might even keep this tape to stick it back later. So you thread it through here. It's annoying, but you find it. It's like a little slot down here. And again, in the dark, huh? Just give yourself a bit of film, actually. That'll make it easier. And once you've got it on, you gotta feel that it's flowing in, because otherwise you'll just etch new sprockets onto the film, and that will create it'll tear it. So as you see, once you've put it through, it goes very smoothly, you know. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to force it. So the way I do it is here. I move it with the sprockets here, with the gears. You know, you can just very easily move them around like that. Okay, and that just makes it really easy. So you put it back in like that. So now I'm going to put it in and force it through, and you'll see what happens. Because right now you see that the sprockets are all normal; they don't look damaged. Now let me see if I can make it damage the sprockets.
Okay, pair of scissors ready.
Yeah. Just to show you what happens if you force it in. You'll enjoy it. I mean, I'm making it look really hard, but it isn't. Just trying to make it damage the thing.
It's hard to even force it in.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to make it do. I'm trying to make it force the
It's actually quite hard to do.
yeah. There you go. I think I managed to do it so that it forces it. More or less. It only forced the first one. So you see this one? You see that it has a little like sprocket bump next to the actual hole?
Yep.
And if you've put it in incorrectly and you've really applied force to it, you will have that across all the sprockets. That means that it's not actually grabbing the film correctly, and so you run the risk of when you engage the motor, or even like halfway through the take, it'll just rip. And that's very annoying. Anyway, now we've got it correctly inserted, and so you have this here. And you can put it like that if you want, or not. We'll get it like that for now. So then you close it, and this part you can do in the darkness or not. It might be easier to just keep it in there. You pull it out till the mark, more or less, and you can play with it obviously to get it to get it exactly where it should be or not. And this might require you to do it a bunch of times, so it's not super scientific.
So the film inside's light sealed now? Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, obviously, you would still do this in the bag.
It'd be a good idea to whoever's gonna be doing this, take this in the bag home with this practice ball.
Yeah,
And just get
do
really good at it.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to be. Everyone's waiting for you, and you're like.
And that will just make you nervous.
Yeah.
That'll make you nervous, and you'll probably mess up because of that. So now you've roughly measured it, okay, to that mark. And so what you got to do is you got to feed it back in, and this is the second sort of tricky part, because you can't lose. You can't make it longer or shorter, because if you do, the loop will not be as good. So as you see, now you can feed film into it, but the length of the loop stays the same, and you can put it through here, and then you just grab it, and it's locked in, so you don't have to do more. It's ready to go.
Put your.
Yeah, you see, and then people say it's not accurate. There you go. You lock it, and so you take it to here. You open the door. Well, you can put it in like that. You can do it already with the door open. It's kind of convenient to do so. You feed the loop through.
And this whole loop is ruined by that. This is the leader of the film.
It's exposed already.
Yeah, but that's on purpose.
So now we've got it in, and the magazine's locked, so we can fill it with it. So now we open this little door here, which is what holds the film in place. And this is why this camera is so good and stable. It's because it has pin registration, which is what many Super 8 cameras don't have, and this is why the image shakes so much. This, every time, it grabs the sprocket and pulls it down, so you know you have a very stable image. Now you see that the little hook there might be down or not. You can to adjust that, just move the little thing that makes you see or not see, the thing that moves the mirror, and now the little hook is up, so you can slot it in place, and you can align it correctly, and you can get the loop to somewhat work.
Just a bit above the hole.
Yeah, and normally I think you get it like just there. There you go. And so now you can. There you go. It's got it just right. Nice. And so you see the loop is there. You close this. And you've done it. It might be a bit too long on one side. You can play with it. For example, this would be probably okay. A bit on the long side, because when it moves, it might brush this. This is a smooth surface. It should be right. If you think you can adjust it slightly without having to dismantle the whole thing, what I usually do is I play a bit with the top and bottom of the loop. You see, I might give it a bit more on the top if I want to shorten it a bit. Don't make it too tight on either end, because if you do, you'll be giving it a lot of tension here at the bottom or at the top, and it'll open the little door. It'll cause it to open the door. I think this could be all right. The top might be a bit too. It's a bit too long. Just a touch. Maybe a sprocket too long. But
you can see the mechanism. This inching knob just does the whole film mechanism in slow motion. So that was one frame.
Yeah. In fact, if we take off the lens.
Oh yeah, you would see the butterfly mirror.
Bayonet mount, you had to do. You had to loosen it, and then you had to press. There was a button to press.
Yeah. You found it.
Yeah, this one, right?
Yeah.
And then you can just go there. Do you have a lens cover for the?
No, just put it on. Just put it on there.
I'll just put it here for now.
So this itching knob is going to play the whole system in slow motion.
So you'll be able to see exactly.
Yeah. So that's going to the viewfinder.
Yeah.
That's the mirror. And you'll be able to see my hand waving out of focus in front of that. So that's if you're looking through and you can't see anything, that's because that mirror is not reflecting to you, and it's going instead straight through to the film. So that's now exposing the film to your viewfinder, and every time this happens, on inside here, it's winding the film one knob, one sprocket.
Yeah, that's just. To get it back on, you see the little notch here. Just align it and then twist it. I think you got to twist it. You hear a click, and then you tighten this. And there you go. And you should have it back on. And that will make it quite silent. As silent as a camera from like the 60s gets. which is quite silent actually.
Should we run it?
Yes, let's do that. And let's just hope that the 12-volt thing works and doesn't blow it up.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, let's keep it open just to show the mechanism. And also
mechanism.
we'll see if the loop brushes or anything. That'll be a good thing to show them.
We have
So-
power.
You have power. Now to actually get the thing running, you just got to press the button here. So this is money flying through the gate.
Yeah.
And you have the button press. It's just like all the pounds.
How much have you shot on past films?
We've done 5 rolls max. I
5
think.
rolls, yeah.
5's
I don't think we only got 5 from Kodak, so didn't
Yeah.
go over that.
5 is, I think, all the short films so far. I don't know
Yeah.
about Pigeon Livered, but in general, I think all of the ones we've shot have been on 5. That gives you 50 minutes of footage,
Oh, wow.
which is not a lot, but it's also a lot for a
It's
short
like
film.
$2.5 grand worth of film.
Yeah. And then but you can also, if you're really in an emergency, there are people in London that can sell you short ends for relatively cheap.
Yeah,
Just
there
send
are
someone
some
to do them.
leftover short ends as well. I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
The film's in the cupboard, by the way. When the big day comes,
Yeah.
it's all in there for you.
Brilliant.
No, it's working very well. This is perfect mechanism.
I'm so happy. I've still got it.
Yeah,
So many
yeah,
years we're
yeah.
not using the 16BL. So for the focus point for the ACs, this is important. It's this line here. This is quite useful because you can hook the little tape measure. But the actual line of the where the film is and the rear element is this one. So I haven't actually done the testing whether this or this gets you the exact focusing, because lenses that are this old and they haven't been calibrated properly, and I don't think we've ever properly put this in like a lens projector and tested it. It's one of both, or somewhere in between would be like the exact place to measure from. In general, unless you have it fully wide open, which I don't recommend you, because you don't get very much in focus with that, unless you're going for a specific effect. In general, if you keep it in normalish apertures, it should be fine. I mean, with a short film I shot, or what I directed, and I don't know if you know a guy called Cha Ustaoglu, who was in Film Stock as well. He was the DP for that. We were fine for most of it, except when we were putting diopters. And again, that was the tricky bit, because we were using the numbers and we didn't do the calculation right. So unless you're doing that sort of complicated stuff, in general, this is what it is. Like the numbers here are reality.
So yeah, once you've run some film, you want to clean in here all the time,
Yeah.
because any dust that gets on your film will ruin it. So every time, say usually when you run out, this roll will be empty. This will go all the way through the camera, cinch yourself back into the roll here, and you don't have to faff around. In an emergency, you can always, if you want to save this film when you're done shooting, and you want to save this film for next year, for something else, for tests, you can just cut the film here at the bottom, and then spool it back into the loop. But that's basically how you get the film out.
Yeah.
Then you're going to want to you would never really do this, because it's not very rare you'd have to do this manually. But whenever you're about to load, clean in this door, most importantly, just everywhere, get all the dust out.
Yeah.
Never, by the way, do the inching knob whilst the camera's running. I mean, you won't, because it's kind of out of the way.
Yeah, but
But,
it's just
yeah.
that will cause problems. So the reason why you do that is to avoid. I mean, this is not a perfect example, because I think this
That's
might just be
fair.
the film. But you get little tiny hairs or dust, and in real life that looks tiny. But when you've got such a small surface for exposing light, capturing it, it looks pretty big. And this is a pain because it wiggles and it moves and it's very distracting. And so you end up having to really crop into the shots digitally. So keep that gate clean. You don't have to necessarily do it after every take, especially if you're in a rush. And sometimes handling it too much introduces dust and problems into it. But you just got to know the right amount of handling, so that every now and then you make sure that the gate is clean, and then you can be sure that the footage you've got is perfectly usable if everything has gone according to plan.
You should
So-
probably have a look through the viewfinder.
Yes, definitely.
This one, okay.
So that's the one.
And
You have to press it and twist it. If you don't press it, it'll just spin.
okay, yeah, I see it.
Remember the viewfinder's got its own pressure shutter on it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what? Leave the mirror in front of the viewfinder.
Yeah, so that you can see it.
Yeah.
When you press this, it'll already trigger into action. But yeah, if you want to look.
Okay,
through
so I'm just adjusting so
Adjust
I
it
can see.
until you
Yeah.
see, then leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then forget about that.
Because now you're gonna, get your shot in focus, get your shot ready.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then when you were ready, then you would start rolling. And then if you press the shutter button whilst you're looking through, you'll be able to see what the experience is like, and that you won't be able to see a whole lot going on.
Oh yeah.
It gets 50% dimmer, obviously,
Yeah.
because the shutter is in the way half the time. There's also these handles. It has this handle, which is very useful.
Yeah.
But on the opposite side, it doesn't have anything. So I would mount opposing
Yeah.
one
that's
handle,
quite
one
handy.
handle.
So it's easy. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to operate it handheld. That's crucial.
Okay. Nice.
I can't believe these have survived.
Barely.
yeah. I thought.
I
This
feel like
was
they used to be a lighter colour.
Yes. No, the sweat on them has really taken the varnish away.
Focus is here.
Oh, where's
It
focus?
focuses on the blimp.
Oh, it's on. Yeah,
It's not like a focus ring, because there is a focus ring on the inside, but this has a big shroud over it which stops the noise. And and that's why the focus this actually slips.
Yeah.
Because people have tried to put a motor on this, but this doesn't completely line up with the actual lens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you
So
can
where
only
should
do
I
it
be pulling
manually.
focus? What? Hold
Just
on. Yeah.
no,
Just here.
just any
From
of
these- from these,
flanges. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not stable enough to do like very smooth.
Oh,
pull
okay.
focus
So if I'm
sometimes.
doing like a nice smooth
Yeah.
pull, okay.
But
it should be fine.
Pulling
but
focus is also hard because it will zoom slightly in and out as you
Yeah.
pull focus, which is called focus breathing, which is just because it's a more rudimentary lens.
Is
Yeah.
it parfocal?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. The one I've got is parafocal, but this one I don't think it will be. You could try.
Yeah, test it out.
But the thing as well is if you're going to if you're going to be doing focus pulls, frame a bit wider so you can crop in later and stabilize and compensate for the breathing.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell.
Yeah, it's very difficult to tell.
How do you zoom?
This is the zoom here. And the aperture is this here. These almost looks like the thing to take the lens off, but it's actually the aperture. Don't go below f4 is my advice. Just because focus.
What is the widest aperture on this?
It's 2.5, but that will be very difficult. It's also quite soft below 4. Very, very soft below 4.
With Super 8, the grain is very different between stocks. Is there much difference with 16mm?
Yes, there is as
A
well.
lot,
Yeah. My favorite one that is like a good balance between both is 200T. Because it's very sensitive, but it doesn't have I think in my opinion, a bit excessive grain that 500T has, which when you try to push a bit in the grain, it starts to really shout at you.
Your film will be
500T.
500T.
Are you filming daytime outside?
Feeling a lot of inside.
A lot of inside.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's
perfect. Then Sam did a perfect job then.
And then this, I believe, is unexposed.
500T.
A 40 foot of it. If you want to do a test ever,
Yeah.
then this is just in the cupboard. This is all at the end cupboard. Yeah.
You be smart, honestly. Like, think in the moment, and don't regret not getting the good take. Don't be annoying about getting everything exactly right because you planned it that way. It's like if you can only do 2 takes and you want to do a dolly jib, goes up and down. Well, it's you either get it in 2 takes or 3 takes, or you just plan a different thing for it. Because the worst thing is when you go into the edit and you just have failed attempts and then you don't have the right one. So it's very good to be ambitious. It really is, and if you can, please do. But if you are in a moment where you are not sure if you are actually going to, you're on set and you're not sure if you're going to pull it off, it's much better to get one good piece of coverage that the editor will have, something to work with. because otherwise, I mean, we've had both cases where we've had great coverage and where we've struggled with coverage, and then the lack of coverage just makes you become this sort of patchwork in the editing of things, and we've been able to do all sorts, and I'm not sure you might be able to tell or not, but you flip video and then you reverse it and you slow it down by just like 5% of the time. You can do all sorts, but ideally you wouldn't have to go to that extent, to that point. If you can plan the coverage correctly and assess in the moment, can we actually pull this off, or do we stop for a moment and just think, what can we do instead? If you see you've done one take and you think it's not going to work, so yeah,
I think
just think. Really, that's the way to do it.
if any noise changes, just stop
Yeah.
and take some time to figure it out.
Yeah. What I would say is, don't do it halfway through a take. Wait for the take to go through,
Yeah.
and then check it, because it might have actually been fine. Okay, and then if you interrupt the take, that is like doing nothing, because in the edit you'll have half a take. That's like having nothing, pretty much. I mean, it can be useful if you need to cover something, but in general, half a take is not really something.
So you think sometimes if I've started the tape, you go with it to get the whatever quality.
Whatever happens, you have it, and then at the end you stop and you say 1 minute. Everyone stop, and you check, and you see, because if it did work, that's another take you have in the can.
And one of the magazines is louder than the other as well. So we change magazines and we're like, oh my god, something's broken, something's not
Which one's louder?
I think this term, I mean, it's been a year, but this sounded like the quiet one.
Okay.
It's got a slight different noise, but you might think something's gone wrong, and just double check, but there was a difference in the magazine sounds as well.
Some of them you can feel the sort of film unspooling much more than others. I don't know why, because they're manufactured to be the same, but they are old. They've been worn out a lot. But so but interrupting takes is hard, because then you will have wasted.
Yeah, if it was actually fine, you'll kick yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Were there any common issues you ran into?
Let me think.
Come on.
Not really. The camera kind of worked flawlessly for us. The biggest issue was focus, but that's kind of human error. Just always measure.
Did you have many moving shots?
We did, but with the moving shots, you're not pulling focus because of the focus breathing. You're just maintaining a constant distance to your actor, and you know the right distance. Like measure at the start and the end of the move.
Would you try to keep it at a wide aperture so it's...
Yes, yeah, for sure. There are some filters for this. Some of them are for switching between, if you're using tungsten lights and it's daylight film, you switch between.
Yeah, well that allows you to not overexpose.
I don't know what the purple one's for.
And these don't need a matte box.
How did you
They
wrap
fit
it around?
here.
Yeah.
You see, there's a glass.
This opens up as a door, and you can swap. This is just a piece of. This is just a. It might be a UV filter, or it's a clear.
I think it's a clear. Normally they come with
clear.
Okay, something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And you can, if
If
you
you
wanted
want to.
to.
On top.
So you swap it, and then so the way it works, you see this. Which one? There's you see, you can free it, or you can lock it back into place.
Yeah.
And so that lets you put in these filters. Just make sure they're clean. That's the only thing.
That's probably your tungsten daylight
Mm-hmm.
one. So if you were shooting outside and you were on, I didn't check what. I think the film.
It's 500T.
Yeah.
So that would mean
But it's
that
colour.
You need it for daylight.
Yeah.
Could you color correct in post quite easily?
Yes, but there's also you will have
You would just slot
overexposed
that
part of
instead
the chemistry.
I don't want to take this one out, but you just.
Yeah, you can just put it in. Obviously you can color correct it, but you're losing in a way some detail there because had you filtered that before it got to the actual chemical reaction that's going on there when you expose it, you would have been able to save a bit more of information of the image.
This one's like the Mexico Breaking Bad.
You could do with a leftover can. You could either keep it just as a backup, or if you wanted to do a few tests, you can just take it outside, put all these filters, and you can see which ones give you the look that you want.
Yeah.
Because that everything that you do in camera has the advantage that it's if it works well, it's the best version of the shot that it can be, and if it works poorly, it's very hard to undo. So if you have if you can achieve that look you want already with those filters and stuff, then that'll help you. But then that's a creative decision made on the day, and so that involves talking between you two and deciding.
I would recommend doing a test.
Yeah.
With that 40-foot spare film, and I can find the details. You send it to Kodak. They're usually very, very helpful, and they do the test for free usually.
Yeah.
And
How
they'll get that back to you within like. It's usually, I don't know. I'd say 5 working days.
Sometimes it's less than that.
To be safe.
Yeah. Count 5 days max. But in general, if you send it on a Monday morning, it'll get there on a. Sometimes it gets there the same day, or it gets there the day after. Then count like half a day before it gets in the developing bath. It can really depend. There's been times where we've gotten the film back in like 48 hours. The download link. Sometimes it's been 72. Sometimes it's been 5 days. So just leave yourself enough time. But it's very easy. You just fill out the form and you just post it. I wouldn't drive there for the tests. I would drive there for the final thing with all the films. If you want to go, or you could just post it. That's also a possibility. It's just that it's a good excuse to
Go to Pinewood.
go to Pinewood. Yeah.
How many minutes would 40 feet give us?
40. So 100 is like 3 minutes at 25, or 2 and a bit at 25 FPS. So I think 40 will give you very little. Will give you like a minute and a bit. Yeah.
And does it only shoot at 25?
Only
Yeah.
25. Yeah.
That's the crystal, the modded crystal sync.
Yeah.
Is just for 25.
Because I think for this one is a bit. I don't know if it's this one or the one before this. To change frame rates, I think you need to change gears or something. Like that.
Yeah. There's some knobs on the crystal thing, but
Yeah.
they're just don't touch
Obviously,
them.
yeah, because this one's crystal
Yeah,
driven. You might be able to set it to 24.
It has to be on crystal, and
Yeah. So the cool thing with this is that you can actually, if you want to run it at 25, if you want to run it at 25 sync, this is perfect. I don't think this can do 24 sync, but what this can do is speed ramps. So if you want it to like do slow motion or like really fast, filming at a slower frame rate, you can do it with a variable setting. So you set it here to variable, and then there you can twist this, and it can go like all the way. I wouldn't push it all the way to the top because you might burn the motor, but you can try. You can experiment with it, and this allows you to change the frame rate of the camera. With my version of it, we got it really like running really fast, and it actually created a cool slow-mo. I think I don't think it was more than 70 FPS, but that's pretty good for one of these old cameras. But
I wouldn't plan your film around it. Though.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. And also make sure it's not an external sync, because this will require a Piloton. Make sure it's on crystal.
Yeah.
That's the one you want for. You see it's
constant
external crystal constant, which constant is just the native motor, which will roughly run at 25.
I mean, it has the I don't know, we call it the speedometer.
Yes, exactly.
So if you're playing around a variable, you're able to see what you're reaching.
Yeah, and you'll see it. Normally, what's the max here? The max is 50 something, so you could probably get it.
slow-mo max.
Yeah. So you could just play it half the speed. You could do that if you wanted to, but you're going to be using double the amount of film. So
Yeah.